Have you ever wondered why some people are consistently invited to parties and gatherings, while others never receive a second invitation? What guest mistake have you made that still makes you cringe when you think about it? Drop your most embarrassing guest story in the comments below. We promise we won't judge. Hey everyone, I'm Sarah, and welcome back to Native Speakers.
And I'm Johnny. We are native English speakers passionate about helping you master real, everyday English.
Today, we're diving into something extremely important but rarely discussed: guest etiquette.
Trust me, what we're about to share could literally save your social life and boost your English at the same time.
So grab your notebook, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started.
All right, Sarah, let's be honest. We've both been to dinners where guests made questionable choices.
Oh my goodness, yes. Last month, my cousin brought someone to my dinner party who arrived empty-handed and then complained about the food. I was mortified.
See, that's exactly what we need to talk about. Let's start with the basics. Sarah, what's the #1 rule when you're invited to someone's home?
Never, and I mean never, show up empty-handed. This is crucial in English-speaking cultures, especially in America, Britain, Canada, and Australia.
Absolutely. But here's where it gets interesting. What should you bring?
Great question. So there's actually an art to this. Let me break it down. If you're going to a dinner party, you have several options. You can bring a bottle of wine, but here's a tip. Spend at least $15 to $20. Don't bring the cheapest bottle from the convenience store.
Yeah, I made that mistake once in college. I showed up with a $5 bottle and the host literally said, "Oh, how budget-friendly of you." I wanted to disappear.
That's brutal, but it's a great learning moment. Other safe options include fresh flowers, a nice dessert, or gourmet chocolates. In American culture, we also love bringing something homemade if you're a good cook.
Now let's talk about timing, because this is where a lot of people mess up. Sarah, if someone invites you for dinner at 7 o'clock, what time should you actually arrive?
Okay, this is fascinating because it varies by culture, but in most English-speaking countries, you want to arrive about 5 to 10 minutes late. Not earlier, not 30 minutes late, just slightly after the stated time.
Why is that?
Well, think about it from the host's perspective. They're probably still getting ready, finishing cooking, maybe quickly cleaning the bathroom one last time. If you show up 15 minutes early, you're actually creating stress for them.
I learned this the hard way. I once arrived 20 minutes early to my boss's house for a team dinner. She answered the door in her bathrobe with wet hair. Talk about awkward. I had to sit there while she finished getting ready. The worst part? I could hear her husband saying, "I told you someone would come early."
Oh no, that's mortifying for everyone involved. But here's something important. Different English-speaking countries have slightly different rules. In Britain, being exactly on time is actually preferred. In America and Australia, 5 to 10 minutes late is the sweet spot.
Let's move on to behavior once you're inside. Sarah, what's your biggest pet peeve when people visit your home?
Oh, I have a list. But seriously, the biggest thing is when guests make themselves too comfortable too quickly. Let me paint you a picture. Last year, my friend brought her new boyfriend to our game night. Within 10 minutes of arriving, he had opened our refrigerator, made himself a sandwich, kicked off his shoes, and sprawled across our sofa with his feet on the cushions.
Wow, that's bold.
Right? Here's the rule. Always ask before helping yourself to anything. Even if the host says, "make yourself at home," that doesn't literally mean treat it like your own house. It's just a polite expression.
So the proper phrase to use would be something like, "May I get a glass of water?" Or "Would it be okay if I used your restroom?"
Exactly. Use modal verbs like may, could, or would it be all right if. These are polite ways to ask permission in English. Never assume anything is okay without asking first.
Let's talk about the dinner table now. This is where cultural differences really show up. Sarah, what are the cardinal sins at an English-speaking dinner table?
Oh boy, where do I start? First, your phone. Keep it in your pocket or purse. I cannot stress this enough. In English-speaking cultures, having your phone on the table signals that you'd rather be somewhere else.
I've noticed younger people struggle with this one. I was at a dinner party last month, and this girl in her early 20s had her phone face up on the table the entire time. It kept lighting up with notifications, and she kept glancing at it. The host finally said, "Is everything okay? You seem distracted."
That's actually a polite way of saying, put your phone away. Here's another big one. Never start eating until everyone is served and the host begins eating. This shows respect and patience.
And chewing with your mouth open, automatic ban from future invitations.
True. But let's talk about something more subtle, conversation topics. Johnny, what should people avoid discussing at dinner parties?
This is super important for English learners because what's acceptable in your culture might be taboo in English-speaking cultures. The big three to avoid: politics, religion, and money.
Unless the host brings them up first, of course. But generally, these topics can create tension and awkward situations.
I remember once I was at a dinner party with people from my company. This new guy started talking about his salary and asking everyone else what they earned. The entire table went silent. It was so uncomfortable. In American and British culture especially, asking someone's income is considered incredibly rude.
Absolutely. Safe conversation topics include travel, hobbies, movies, books, food, and asking people about their interests. Here's a useful phrase. What do you like to do in your free time? This is a conversation starter that almost never fails.
Speaking of conversation, let's address something important: monopolizing the conversation. Sarah, we all know that person who talks non-stop about themselves, right?
Oh yes, the conversation hijacker. This is someone who turns every topic back to themselves. For example, you say, "I just got back from Italy," and they immediately jump in with, "Oh, Italy, let me tell you about my trip to Italy." And then they talk for 20 minutes.
I'm guilty of this sometimes. It's easy to do, especially when you're excited about something.
The key is balance. Share your experiences, but also ask follow-up questions. Practice these phrases. "That's interesting. Tell me more about that." Or, "How did that make you feel?" Or, "What happened next?" These are called elaboration questions in communication theory. They show you're genuinely interested in the other person, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Now let's discuss something that makes many people uncomfortable: compliments and criticism. Johnny, how should guests handle situations where they don't like something?
This is tricky. Let's say you're served a meal and you don't like it, or you're allergic to something. The key is honesty combined with politeness. Don't lie and say it's delicious if you hate it, but don't be brutally honest either.
Right. If you have an allergy or dietary restriction, mention it before the dinner party when you're first invited. Say something like, "I'd love to come. Just so you know, I'm allergic to shellfish. Is that going to be a problem?"
But what if you're already at the table and realize you can't eat something?
Then you use what I call the polite dodge. You might say, "This looks amazing, but I'm actually quite full. Would it be okay if I had a small portion?" Or, "I'm not a big fan of spicy food, but I'll definitely try everything else."
I once made a terrible mistake. I was at my girlfriend's parents' house for the first time, and her mom made liver and onions. I hate liver. But instead of being diplomatic, I made a disgusted face and said, "I can't eat this." My girlfriend was so embarrassed.
Wincing. Oh no. What should you have said?
I should have said, "This looks wonderful, but I've never been able to eat liver. May I have extra vegetables instead? Everything else looks delicious." See the difference? I acknowledged her effort while politely declining.
That's the key. Always acknowledge the host's effort. They spent time, money, and energy preparing for you. Even if something goes wrong, be gracious. Use phrases like, Thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate all the effort you put into this.
Let's talk about overstaying your welcome. This is huge. Sarah, how do you know when it's time to leave?
Great question. There are subtle social cues in English-speaking cultures. If the host starts yawning, checking their watch, or saying things like, "Well, this has been lovely," that's your signal.
The classic well is the American goodbye starter. As soon as someone says well and slaps their knees, it means I want you to leave now.
Exactly. And here's a good rule of thumb. For dinner parties, plan to leave about 2 to 3 hours after you arrive. For casual get-togethers, read the room. If people are starting to clean up or the energy is dying down, it's time to go.
But don't do what my uncle does, announce you're leaving and then stand in the doorway talking for another 45 minutes. That's called the Irish goodbye in some places, but it's really just prolonging the inevitable.
Yes, when you say you're leaving, actually leave within 10 minutes. Here's the proper exit. Thank you so much for a wonderful evening. I should get going. Then make your exit reasonably quickly.
And always send a thank you message the next day. This is non-negotiable in English-speaking cultures.
A text is fine, but an email or handwritten note is even better, especially if it was a formal dinner party or if you stayed at someone's house overnight.
Speaking of overnight stays, let's tackle that. Sarah, what are the rules for being a house guest?
Oh, house guests. This is an entire category. First rule, strip your bed before you leave. Take off the sheets and pillowcases and fold them neatly. Don't just leave the bed messy.
Clean your bathroom, too. If you're staying at someone's house, you're using their toilet, shower, and sink. Wipe everything down before you leave.
And offer to help. Say things like, "Can I help with breakfast?" or "Would you like me to run to the store for anything?" Even if they say no, the offer matters.
I stayed at a friend's house for a weekend once, and on my last morning, I got up early and made breakfast for the whole family. They still talk about it years later. It left such a positive impression.
That's brilliant. Those little extra efforts make you the guest everyone wants to invite back. Here's another tip. Bring a host gift if you're staying overnight. It should be nicer than what you'd bring to a dinner party. Maybe a fancy candle, a beautiful coffee table book, or high-quality tea or coffee.
Let's address something awkward. What if you break something at someone's house?
Okay, this is important. If you break something, immediately apologize and offer to replace it. Say something like, "I'm so sorry, I'll replace this immediately. Where did you get it?"
Don't try to hide it or make excuses. Accidents happen, but taking responsibility shows character.
Exactly. And if they say, "Don't worry about it," still follow up. Send them money to replace it or actually buy a replacement and bring it to them.
Here's a final point that many people miss. Be aware of household rules. If you see everyone taking their shoes off at the door, take yours off too. If they have a pet that's not allowed on the furniture, don't encourage it to jump up.
Yes, observe and follow the house rules, and never ever criticize how someone runs their household. Comments like, "Your house is so small," or "Why don't you have a TV in the living room?" are incredibly rude.
Did someone actually say that to you?
Yes, a former friend came over and said, "Wow, I thought your house would be bigger." I never invited her back.
That's understandable. Remember, everyone, if you can't say something nice, say nothing at all. That's a classic English proverb that definitely applies to being a guest.
Wow, Johnny, we covered so much today.
We really did. Let's quickly recap the main points. Always bring a gift, arrive 5 to 10 minutes late, ask before helping yourself to anything, keep your phone away during meals, avoid controversial topics, don't monopolize conversations, read social cues to know when to leave, and always send a thank you message afterwards.
And remember, being a good guest isn't just about following rules. It's about showing respect, gratitude, and consideration for your host. These skills will not only make you a welcome guest anywhere, but dramatically improve your English communication skills.
You're learning real, practical English that native speakers use every single day. These phrases and expressions will serve you in social situations, business dinners, and cultural exchanges.
If you found this lesson helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Native Speakers for more practical English lessons like this.
And don't forget to share your most embarrassing guest story in the comments. We read every single one, and we might feature them in a future video.
Next week, we're covering English phrases that sound polite but are actually rude. You won't want to miss it.
Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, the best way to improve your English is to immerse yourself in real conversations and cultural contexts just like we did today.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
See you next time on Native Speakers.